Well, college football Saturday is over. There's a few other games playing right now. I think Hawaii is playing and some other teams that are playing because they're in some weird time zone where it's like 7, 8 o'clock there, but it's like 1 o'clock in the morning here. So I'm not watching it. But college football Saturday is done. This is the video about Michigan specifically. I'll probably sprinkle in my like quick thoughts about some of the other teams that I can remember in the Big Ten, but I'll have a full dedicated video to the rest of the Big Ten teams, um, probably Monday. So look out for that. I'm gonna try and do this every week, where I have one video about Michigan and one video about just the rest of the Big Ten teams. If you don't know, I am a Michigan fan, have been my whole life. This is a Michigan channel, but it's also a college football channel and just kind of randomness on this channel. So if you want to stay up to date with me and what I'm making videos on and about Michigan, my thoughts on the games and stuff, consider subscribing, like the video, and all that jazz. So you can get and turn on that bell, even though people don't think that it works. Do it anyway, so you can get notified when I upload, which isn't very often, but I'm going to try and be better about it. But anyways, Michigan, it looked very good today, or I guess yesterday. I'm filming this very late at night. They looked very good. 51-7 over Colorado State. I mean, we should have beat them by this much anyway. We were favored by like 30, and yeah, we were over on that one, so that's good. We got Hawaii next week at 8 o'clock, so we got the late home game next week. Something probably a lot, today was a slaughter for Michigan. Next week should be even worse for Hawaii. Hawaii is a really bad football team. When you lose to Vanderbilt 63-10, you're not a good football team, man. When you lose to any team by 63-10, you're not a good football team, let alone Vanderbilt. But Michigan looked really good today, 51-7 over Colorado State. Want to kind of talk about things that I noticed right off the bat. Number one thing that I noticed about this team, or just Michigan in general, was this defense. This defense looked excellent. I know it's Colorado State. I get it. I know it's Colorado State. But this defense still looked really good. And, last year it was all about Aiden Hutchinson, David Ojabo, Dax Hill, just a select few guys. Mostly those two, David Ojabo and Aiden Hutchinson. And then just kind of everybody else. In this game, I mean, there wasn't really any player that really stuck out to me on defense. They all just kind of did really well. This Michigan defense punished Colorado State all game long. We could do whatever we wanted on the defensive side. We let some plays slip here or there, but we did a really good job containing them offensively. 7 sacks in this game, 11 tackles for loss. We had a pick at one point, an interception. So defense looked really good today. Rod Moore is, I guess, somebody that I would say would stuck out to me. Other guys like that looked really, really good today. So defense looked better than I thought they would already. I know it's Colorado State. We'll see how they do against tougher opponents, tougher offenses. But I think so far this defense looks really good. And again, we'll see how they look later on down the line against, like I said, tougher offensive teams later on down the line in the season, especially Maryland, which is in a few weeks. That's our first conference team. We get it at home, but after what I saw Maryland do, I'm a little bit more worried for Maryland. But we'll see. We'll see. I think that will be a good test for our defense to see how good they really are, or at least get a little bit of a glimpse of how good they are as against Maryland. But yeah, defense looked really good. Held Colorado State to under 300 yards of total offense. Really good game for our defense. Really, really good game. That pass rush was on fire. I mean, they couldn't be stopped. They were so fast. On the offensive side of the ball, kind of a slow start. Had a 3-and-out to begin the game. That wasn't fun to watch, but eventually they got into a groove and started moving the ball a little bit more. Blake Corum looked great. Donovan Edwards looked really good as well. He got in there and got some great plays, especially towards the end of the game. Donovan Edwards is tough. And Blake Corum, I think he got faster, dude. These two guys are great. Blake Corum, I know he's a little guy, but he was deadly for us last year with Hassan Haskins. And I think for this time around, Blake Corum being the starter and Donovan Edwards as a backup, I'm not sure. We don't know yet if this is a better duo than Hassan and Blake, but we'll see if Blake and Donovan can be a better duo than Hassan and Blake was. That has yet to be seen, but so far they looked really good. Offensive line looked excellent again. They did allow 1 sack in this game. That was, again, a disappointment. There was some things that our offensive line messed up on, just 1 or 2 things that really was like, really? Come on, guys. But, mistakes were limited, and, you're not going to be perfect every time, so you just got to pick up where you left off and keep going. But other than a few hiccups, this offensive line looked really good. Return to form from last year. I think this is going to be, again, one of the best offensive lines in the country for Michigan. So another thing I wanted to talk about that I noticed. Oh, I forgot to mention, receivers looked great. Seeing Ronnie Bell get that catch and do what he did. He didn't do much in the game, but it was really great to see him get a catch and play. I mean, the crowd loved him. I love Ronnie Bell. I was so happy to see him back on the field doing what he does after that ACL tear last year against Western Michigan. In the first game of the season last year, he missed that entire. I mean, he didn't miss it. He was on the sideline, but he didn't get to play in any of those games where we went all the way to the playoffs, and it just kind of sucks for him. So I'm glad that he's back out there, and I hope. I don't know if he has more years of eligibility. I hope he does, because I want him to stick around longer after this year, because I really like Ronnie Bell. But Roman Wilson looked really good. AJ Henning was in there. He got some stuff. Oh, Mike Sanderstill was on defense. He looked really good too. Receiver from last year. So I mean, that was cool to see. RJ Moten and DJ Turner, guys like that. So that was cool to see also. But yeah, receivers looked really good. Tight ends, Eric All, Luke Schoonemaker looked really good as well. So glad to see those guys get some playing time and even some backups get to play. But now for the next thing I was going to talk about. Quarterbacks. That was kind of the story going into the game. Who is the quarterback? How is Cade McNamara going to respond to pretty much an open quarterback room, open quarterback competition? It was like, how is he going to respond to that pressure? And I'm not going to put it lightly. He played lackluster. He didn't play good. He had some decent throws here or there. He moved around all right, but I don't know. I don't know what it is about Cade. He just didn't look good today. And you could tell that he was getting really frustrated with himself. He would throw an inaccurate pass after he thought he threw that interception, after he threw an incomplete pass that was way off target and would have been a first down. You could tell he was visibly frustrated on the sidelines, or not on the sidelines, that too, but also on the field. You could just tell he was upset. And sitting on the bench on the sideline while J.J. McCarthy was out there running over Colorado State's defense, I mean, he didn't look happy. But here's the thing, and this isn't a knock at McNamara as a player, because I think Cade McNamara is a very good quarterback. I mean, you can't not be a good quarterback if you're not going to get to where we were last year with a bad quarterback. You're just not. Now, I think we caught lightning in a bottle last year with just all the right keys being there, and Cade was just, he was the quarterback. So, of course, he was one of those keys. I'm going to be forever grateful to Cade McNamara for what he did last year, beating Ohio State for the first time since 2011, winning the Big Ten championship for the first time since 2004, going to the going to the playoffs for the first time in school history, and getting us the closest we ever had been to going to a national championship since 1997, when we actually did go to a national championship. But here's the thing. Cade is a good quarterback, and like I said, I'm very grateful for what he's done for us and everything. But JJ looked better today, or yesterday. He looked better. I mean, he threw more accurate balls. He looked more comfortable. He looked more poised. He looked more athletic. I mean, he ran the ball. I mean, what else can you do? But just, tell the truth and say JJ played better. And I still think the quarterback competition is still going. Obviously, it's not going to end after 1 week. They're still deciding. They're still going to, but if we were giving points for every week, McCarthy gets point number 1. It's 1-0 JJ McCarthy, in my eyes. And he's going to start next week against Hawaii. Hawaii is awful. So, I mean, we should score 70 points on them. No excuses there. I mean, the only reason we might not score 70 points is because we feel bad for them. Hawaii, I mean, I think McCarthy, with our O-line and as good as McCarthy is, and those receivers, we could have 400 or 500 yards passing. I mean, why wouldn't we be able to? Here's the thing though. With McCarthy, I am confident we could do that. With Cade, I'm not really sure. I mean, Cade's not a 400 or 500 passing yard quarterback, or that. He's just not that kind of guy. He doesn't do that. He's not a gunslinger. He doesn't throw, amazing, unbelievable throws every week. I mean, he's more of a check down, crossing route kind of guy. He throws accurate balls most of the time. Really high completion percentage. I mean, he does what he has to do to get the job done. And he reminded me a lot of Ian Book at Notre Dame a few years ago. I think Ian Book and Cade McNamara are very, very similar. Ian Book was not really, super athletic or was going to throw for 400 or 500 yards a game. He was more of a game managing quarterback. But here's the thing. In this day and age, a game-managing quarterback doesn't win championships. I mean, they may be able to get you past your rival that you haven't beaten in 10 years and get you a conference title. But when you go up into the playoffs and play those elite teams like an Alabama and a Georgia, I mean, a quarterback like that's not going to get the job done. Ian Book never was able to do it against Trevor Lawrence. I mean, it sucks, but that's just how it is. It's just not the way football is played anymore. Football is not played ground and pound, run the ball down a team's throat, and the quarterback will throw when he needs to. Nowadays, successful teams throw the ball a lot. And yes, a running game is important. It's always important. You want to be able to do both. But in this day and age, throwing the ball is very important. And you see it a lot more. I mean, who are the best teams in the country? Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia. And what do? They throw the ball a lot. Pass-heavy teams. And those are the teams that are the most successful. Those are the teams that get the most points. Those are the teams that have the best stats. I mean, those are the teams that win the most games. And unfortunately for Cade, that style of football, I mean, he just doesn't excel at that. Like I said, he's more of a game-managing quarterback. And like I said, and to be clear, there's nothing wrong with being a game-managing quarterback. It's just not going to get you where you want to be in terms of a national title. And I think with J.J. McCarthy, we have a chance to be one of those, air raid offense types. Not necessarily an air raid offense, but a team that throws the ball a heck of a lot more than they have been the last forever. I mean, I can't remember the last time a Michigan team was more pass heavy than run heavy. Michigan's always been a run heavy offense, and it hasn't changed. Even last year, I mean, what was our best, the best thing we could do last year? Run the ball. I mean, literally today, I wish JJ would have thrown the ball more in this Colorado State game. He didn't really do it much. I wish he would have. Every time he was out there, I was like, Jim, let him throw the ball. Let him throw the ball. And I mean, he would just hand it off. I mean, Blake Corum would run for 15, 20 yards, but it was like, I was like, man, it's like, that's great, but I wanna see JJ throw the ball a little bit. We're up by 40 some points. Let's see him sling it around a little bit. So, yeah, in terms of quarterback room, Cade is down 1-0 over JJ. Wins the first week, in my eyes. Again, I don't hate Cade McNamara. I don't dislike him. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I'm not saying that because I already know there's going to be people that are going to defend him. Be like, oh, it's just 1 week. I understand that. I'm not counting him out now. I'm not saying, oh, he shouldn't start. I'm not saying that. I'm saying what I'm pretty much saying is if this continues, then yeah, he shouldn't start. Let's give it some more time. We'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes for Cade and JJ and that quarterback room. But yeah, in my eyes, JJ wins the first day. But yeah, that was pretty much it. That's all I gotta say about this game. I mean, we destroyed Colorado State. What else do you want me to say? We knew this was gonna happen. This was supposed to happen. This was always supposed to happen. I mean, we were never supposed to lose this game. Some people were like, "Oh, it's the next App State." No, it's not the next App State, because unlike that 2017, this team is really good. So, yeah, Michigan wins 51-7 over Colorado State. My next video on the Big Ten, and just the rest of the Big Ten teams for Week 1, will be uploaded on Monday. So subscribe to the channel, like this video, so you can find out my thoughts on the Ohio State Notre Dame game, on Purdue and Penn State, Maryland, Iowa, Wisconsin, all those schools. So we'll see where the season goes, pretty much. And yeah, subscribe so you can see that video. Do it.